So, if you're the kind of person who travels a lot here in Cameroon, then I'm sure you've heard about General Express Voyages. They are one of the biggest players in the game when it comes to inter-urban travel, at least according to Google. However, their branding feels very outdated, so let's do something about it. In this video, we'll figure out how to carry out an effective rebrand of a bus agency, making good use of creative tools like Photoshop, Blender, Figma, and Illustrator to bring the brand to life. And I'll share some amazing creative tips along the way, so let's jump right in. Alright, let's begin with phase 1. So first, I started by doing some research, figuring out what General Express is all about, and collecting references for the designs we are about to make. I really fancy these letter marks with bold typography. It's a very clean and sophisticated vibe. I also gathered a collection of professional looking branding projects on Behance. I like the way they implemented their logos on things like cars, trucks, and other vehicles. And just browsing through some of General Express's designs, mostly from their Facebook page, you can see that there's plenty of room left for improvement. Now, before stepping into the design phase, let's analyze their logo. Contrary to what most people may think about this design, I actually kind of like it a little. That's probably because I see it all the time when traveling, and I've gotten used to it. But the thing I'm trying to say here is I can acknowledge what the designer was going for. It's a monogram with 3 letters that come together to form the wheel of a bus, and there are these triangles to the side that sort of convey speed, and the colors are very bold and vivid. But this is all a bit overkill for a brand that wants to come across as serious or professional. There's just way too much going on with the main logo. So what we'll do is simplify the brand mark. We'll keep it as a monogram, and we'll maintain some of the vibrant colors from the logo. For these other aspects, we can easily find a way to incorporate them in secondary designs like for flyers, banners, and all those other stuff. Okay, now let's get into the design. So this is the basic logo we have, and essentially it's nothing too fancy, just a couple of rectangles joined together. And the only problem is it's too simple. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to unify this letter mark. So if you look closely, you see that the G and E, they are very blocky and straight, only 90-degree angles. But on the V letter, there's this slanted edge here. So in order to unify everything, I think it would be better if we try to mimic this edge across all the other letters. So let's start with letter G. We'll bring it down here and also bring the slanted edge over like this. And we'll increase the length of this part. There we go. Now I'm just going to select everything and select your shape builder tool right here. And now I'm just going to remove the parts that I don't want, like this. And there we go. You have a much better looking G letter. And here's what it looks like. Now I'll do the same thing for E. Just bring it down. Move this slanted edge down like this. And then I'll delete this part. Bring it like that. Increase the length of this. And also this part. Now to the eye, this might look good, but I think it'll be better if we brought this over here like this. And then with this part selected, you just get to your Pathfinder menu and click on this. Then just put that back. I can just remove the parts you don't want. And there we go. Now the E letter looks much better. Now, obviously, there are many ways to incorporate this slanted edge into the different letters. You can also do something like this. But these other versions look a little bit too playful and not really that professional. It doesn't really represent the brand we're going for. And so we're just going to use this one. And here's what we have. Now we've encountered another problem. The E and V look good together, but the G is standing out. So we also have to make this part slanted. So just bring it down like this. Remove that. And bring this here. Now, obviously, I'm not using any grids or guides. I'm just, doing everything by eye because this is the tutorial. But if you want to make sure everything is aligned properly and is clean, you have to use your grids and guides and whatsoever. And finally, when we combine everything together with the brand colors, we have something like this. It looks very clean and all the letters seem way more unified now. Also, you can kind of come in here to this one, and if you drag this edge away and remove it, it turns into another logo version, which is nice. So yeah. So I also made this version with some rounded corners here and there, but it turns out after a quick survey with some friends, they actually just preferred the one with the sharp edges. Okay, let's take a little detour and talk about the color palette for a moment. I never wanted to stray too far from the original colors on the logo, and also on their official website they have a lot of blue and red, so I just adopted those two colors and also a gradient. With this new color palette, we can generate more colors by tinting and shading. So these are our primary colors and these are their tints and shades. Tinting progressively adds white to your color swatches and shading progressively adds black. So now we can use these vibrant colors for things like modular info banners, presentations, and communication assets. And for these less saturated colors, we can use them on tickets and other printed materials like business cards and so on. Actually, most of the time, bus tickets come in these desaturated colors because it doesn't consume as much ink, and that makes it easier to print. So here's a quick tip. If you'd like to make this sort of grid view of your logo, instead of doing it manually, you can use this Illustrator script I found on GitHub. I'll include the link in the description. All you have to do is download it, and in Illustrator, select your logo and go to File, Scripts, Other Script, and you can just run the downloaded script from there. Of course, you have to do a little finessing to get everything to look just right. And you can even take things one step further and create an animation using After Effects. Okay, let's proceed to the next phase. This is the part where we're going to use our design tools together to create renders and videos like this. So in order to visualize how the designs will look on different parts of the bus, we have to use mockups. But there aren't really that many free, robust PSD mockups for buses. So we're going to make ours, and the resources you need to do so are absolutely free. First things first, install Blender. Then if you go to this site here, it's called Sketchfab, and search for a free 3D bus model. You'll find tons of models you can choose from, and most of them are actually free. And you can also do the same thing on CG Trader. I really like the design of this one, so I'll download it and unzip it. And then drag and drop the 3D model into Blender to import it. Okay, so here's our 3D scene in Blender. I'll delete all these extra objects that came with the model. We don't need them. And the next step is very important. We're going to create an outline of this bus that we can use as a reference layer in Photoshop. That way we have a good idea for the layout of the designs we are going to create. So in order to do that, just go up here to your viewport shading properties and change the lighting from madcap to flat. Then change the color from material to single. Also just make sure that this color is pure white, and change the background from theme to viewport, and then make sure it's pure white as well. This looks like a very decent outline view of the bus. So I'll just enter side view here, and then I'll disable these viewport overlays so that it doesn't distract us. And we'll just carry out a very simple test render by coming here to view and viewport render image. And here's what it looks like. It's very underexposed and muddy. So just kill this, come to your render properties and go to color management. And in order to fix that render, just change the view transform from AGX to standard. Then if you render everything again, you should have the proper colors. Now next thing I'm going to do is increase the resolution of our render so that we have more detail. So come here to your output properties and change the resolution from 100% to 200%. And that's going to give you a 4K render. And then just come here and render everything once more. And this is our final image. So I'm going to hit Alt S to save it. I'll save it as a JPEG. and hit save as image. Now I'm just going to go to where I have my image saved. This is it here. I'll right click it and open with Photoshop. Then I'll just add a levels adjustment layer, and this is just going to help us increase the contrast and visibility of the lines. Next thing I'm going to do is select my crop tool and make a selection of the approximate area of the bus and hit enter. Okay, so now our outlines are ready. What I need to do now is bring the design in here and play around with the layout and colors and so on. So I'll use Illustrator for that. And here in Illustrator, I already prepared this basic design for the logo. I was mainly inspired by these lines to the side of the original logo. So I decided to incorporate something similar in the new logo we created. I'll just copy it and open Photoshop, and you can paste it here as a shape layer. You can obviously change the color of this shape layer, perhaps mess around with some gradients and stuff like that. But I'm not going to bore you with the details because I already made a design for this, and here it is. So I think it looks good enough, but the only problem is these gradients will pose as a problem when printing out the designs on the actual bus, or if you're trying to paint it, it's going to be very difficult. So I came up with some other ideas that are just made up of solid colors and no gradients, like this one and this one. So the idea is quite simple, not really anything complex. I also came up with another iteration that had a combination of both gradients and some shape layers, and it looks like this. So altogether we have, a combination of different designs we can play with and experiment in 3D, and everything is set. Alright, so let's work on the materials. This model came already separated into different parts, so we'll just focus on texturing the body, the front and the back of the bus. As you can see, our UV map wasn't correctly applied, so I'm just fixing it in edit mode. By the way, if you want a slight touch of realism in your renders, you can add a noise texture to your material and plug the output into the roughness of your principal shader. It's not an absolutely necessary step, but it's just a good thing to keep in mind generally. And now I'm just doing the lighting of the scene in preparation for our final render. So while editing this video, I actually traveled. And although I took a different agency, it quickly dawned on me that there's no way the design of a bus is actually going to have any perceivable impact on the quality of a journey. That has to do with like the drivers, the state of the roads, and the general management of the company and so on. But I think this is a very good place to start and a very effective way of reinforcing confidence and the overall sense of trust amongst customers and clients. And this goes for any type of brand actually. If you have a great product or service and a welcoming customer experience and your branding and marketing is solid, then it's only a matter of time before people start noticing and interacting with the brand you've built. Now, this brings us to part 4. Okay, I won't spend too much time on this part, but basically this is where we're going to use everything we've made so far in order to create some videos and also to create some templates for social media posts and banners. So I initially wanted to make post templates like these, but it felt very basic and not very unique. The problem was that I was trying to adopt this Swiss type layout and design style, but it turned out feeling very corporate and not as energetic as the brand we're trying to represent. So back in Illustrator, I figured we could take these shapes from the bus design and repurpose them. We can use these elements as a motif and incorporate it into major brand elements like banners, billboards, posters, and so on. I also made this animated background element in After Effects, and this looks pretty cool for a post. And now I think we've done a proper rebrand of General Express. Of course, if we actually had some input and collaboration from the brand itself, it might have turned out a little different, but I think we've done remarkably well so far. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the video. Sorry I couldn't really go too deep into how I created the Blender and After Effects animations. If you want to get a more in-depth breakdown of what that process is like, then just let me know in the comments and I'm going to work on it. Okay, hope you enjoyed the video and see you guys in the next one. Peace.